All right. All right, mic check. It looks the video's working. All right, that's better than last time. All right, so it's been a while, but yeah. So here's the situation. I was using a native app, Mac app, for doing some envelope-based budgeting, and it crashed. And I used it again, and it crashed, and used it again, and it crashed. And I was sick of this. I think that the main functionality is actually pretty straightforward until we get to some of the more complicated budgeting things. So I decided to see what I could do by doing Rails new. If you see me looking up there, I've moved monitor there. That way I can see what's going on. Anyways, let me switch this over and show you what I'm thinking. All right. So this is what I'm thinking in terms of the setup. So we're going to have users. They're going to be able to have memberships for a team. I don't know if we can call it team organization or what. But basically this is so that you can share a budget with your wife or something like that. Actually, as I speak about that, it means that there probably is another thing in here that is the budget. So that you can have multiple budgets, and these probably need to be reassigned down here. Yeah, something like that. So anyways, you're going to have a budget. Inside your budget, you'll have your bank account. This is going to be your actual bank account. So you'll be checking your account, savings account, etc. Then inside of your budget, you're going to have a bunch of envelopes. These will be your categories. So you'll have an envelope for your groceries, an envelope for your hydro bills, etc. And then within that, you're going to be able to have your transactions, and it's going to say, I spent $50 on groceries. I think this is going to eventually go to a place where you can have splits, where you can say, I have a $100 bill, I have a $100 expense, and some of it went to groceries, some of it went to something else. But that's kind of where that would be looking at. And I probably should have not done it quite like this, but we'll put this back on here. And then separate from that, you're going to get into kind of the budgeting side, which is you have your input schedule. So this is going to say something like, I'm buying groceries once a week, and I'm going to be spending, whatever dollars. And those will result in the creation of transactions and filling up envelopes with available money. So that's kind of the gist of it. And yeah, so let's start. Let's get building. So I haven't done anything on this yet. So this is going to be starting off with a Rails new. So I'm going to call this envelope. I've got a few starter settings in here. So this is using Postgres for its database, Tailwind for the CSS side of things, and I'm using ESBuild for JavaScript. So that's kind of what's going on there. And this should just install real quick. While that's doing that, let's load this up. So I'm going to be hitting localhost 3000 eventually. And I already have something running on there. So let's kill that. I thought that was already turned off, so let's kill it. And there we go. Let's hop into our new project and bring it up. All right, so we've got our project set up, so that's good. Let's throw into here. So this is all of our initial commit stuff. All right, and if we Rails, not Rails C, we want to Rails S this, and perfect, it's failing. So it means it's working. So we're good there. Cool. All right, so we're good there. So let's get started. So we have a new Rails project. Nothing's there at all. So the first thing we're going to do is set up users. And for that, we're going to be using clearance. That's just my kind of preference. I know the device has a ton more options, but I like clearance. It's small and simple, and that's kind of the reason I like it. So this is just going to be adding clearance, and then we're going to want to Rails generate clearance install. So we're going to bundle add clearance, and we're going to install that. And actually, I'm setting a timer for myself. I'm going to take a half hour, kind of see where I'm at, then take another half hour. All right, so clearance install, and actually I'm going to undo what I just did. We're going to delete that. We're going to delete the migration, delete the user model, and discard that chunk. All right. The reason for that is before we start getting into all of that, I'm going to want to, I actually tend to use UUIDs for stuff. So I'm going to create that migration. I'm going to, and I'm pulling this off of just a little look around to grab it first. So for this, we need to enable the PG crypto library, and we're going to want to make a initializer for we don't have one yet for the generators. Nope. So we're going to go and make a generators.rb. So for this, for active record, we're going to be using UIDs for the primary key type. And inside of our app models application record, we want that to be an abstract. We want to add on to this. Normally you're going to be having your keys ordered by the ID. This is going to switch to be the created at because the ID doesn't make much sense. So now we can do a Rails DB migrate. That worked great. And now we can do, not that. Now we can do the clearance install. All right, and we're just going to follow the directions that they give out. So inside of our environments, development and test, we're going to set that default URL options. This is something that we'd be making be correct in other environments, but for getting started, we'll throw that in there. In our layout, we're just going to grab that. This is going to die pretty quickly. We're going to definitely be improving it, but to get us up and running, this is going to add a sign in and sign up link. And we're going to throw flashes in there. And again, this is going to die pretty quickly once we get things up and running. All right. And while we're at this, let's just check the users. So we can see that we are using the UUIDs in here. So that's good. So Rails DB migrate. And in our terminal, let's actually, I think we have a bin dev. Yeah. This is going to spin up the web worker, but it's also going to have our CS and JavaScript builds going. So if we do that, and we're getting that perfect. All right, so let's go into our routes, and we're just going to make our route to, what is it? The root's going to be going to session new, if I remember correctly. Nope. What's it going to give us? This is one of those things that you set up once at the very beginning and then you don't need to. Sign-in path. What are you complaining about this for? Oh, we want to go to clearance sessions new. All right, wow. All right, and because we're using Tailwind, we're not getting any formatting on these, but that's okay for now. What we can do actually just to make that be a little bit more usable is throw in here an ugly little hack. We'll just do something like input border is 1 pixel solid red, just so we can see it. Oh, beautiful. Oh, look at that styling. All right, great. So we've got a system we can sign up. So let's now let's actually commit that as is. So let me just scan through this. We're getting the lock. We're adding clearance. Actually, let's get clearance, and let's move this up out of that. And this is going to end up being alphabetical. None of these really need explanation. They're all very standard. Otherwise, I would put comments. So if I was doing something where this is weird, I'd say this is for something. But in this case, we don't need that. And I almost want to skip JBuilder because I don't think we're really going to be using it right now, but that's fine. I know I'm going to be wanting that, but we'll just leave it off for now. All right, we got development, debug. All right, that's all good. I don't think we're going to be using that, and I don't think we're going to be using credit, so I'll just leave that off for now. All right. Let's check that again. So that's been rearranged. We got our schema, which is adding our users. It's also have the extension. We create users, enable UID. We add the change of the route. We initialize our clearance. This actually probably should be broken into 2 commits, but that's so early on. It's so small. It's fine. Okay. So we added clearance. Okay, so that is up and running. So what comes next? All right. So when you sign in, so when you sign up, we want you to create account at the same time. So for that, we need to actually override the so the sign in. We would need to override the sign in controller to have the additional functionality. So if we look at what's happening in here, the sign in, sign up is hitting clearance users new. So we actually are going to go in here, and this is the initializer that they give for clearance. Do they copy that whole thing in? I forget. No, they only copy a tiny bit. That's copying the whole thing. And what do they? So all of this will comment out, and we're the mail sender. We'll bring that back in. Rotate. We'll bring that back in. Okay, so for this, actually, and the other thing I want to do, cookie domain, I want to change that. Because I run different projects, this conflicts with each other, so then it causes issues. So I'm going to call this envelope.com. I don't know what it's going to be. All right. So that's good. We're going to say routes is false. We'll see why in a second. That's probably okay for now. All right. If we come into here and look for routes, does it give us a generator for that? Yeah. Let's make sure we're getting the right latest stuff. All right, and we'll hop back into routes. So, all right. So password, session, users. That all looks good. And we've got sign in, sign out, sign up is where we're going to want to change. So we're going to change this from being clearance users to be users new. So we can hop into here. We can make a new users controller RB, and this is going to be class users controller, and this is going to override clearance user. Is it user or users? Yeah. Oh, that's okay. All right. So that's good. This is. And we're going to change this to be controllers users. All right, so if we do that, go to the terminal, we changed a bunch of bundles and stuff, so let's run that again. And in here, for the users controller, now, if we look at what they do in controllers, clearance, users controller. So create, you're going to set user from params. If users.save, sign in, redirect back, render. All right. So we don't really want to change any of this stuff here. We just want to kind of take action afterwards. So here we can go super and go if at user.persisted do stuff. That's kind of what our goal is. So we'll call this what? Let's call it an organization. We can do something like organization dot new. So we're going to create an organization. We're going to give this a name of at user.email.org, which probably is not a great name. We'll go membership, and then we want to create a membership. Actually, let's not go new. Let's go create, and membership dot create, and this is going to be with a organization of organization, and the user of user. Now these could fail. I don't see a reason why they would. So yeah. Well, for now we'll just say that's fine. We'll have some test and trace that take care of things. So this is obviously not going to work because we don't have an organization, nor do we have memberships. So let's make those. So we can go Rails G model. We're going to call it an organization. And organization for right now is just going to have a name. Yeah, I think that's all it needs for now. Okay, and we're going to Rails GA organization membership. I'm just going to call it member. Let's just call it membership. I'm trying to think if there's going to be other memberships in the system. Off the top of my head, no, but we'll see. So this is going to be, this is going to have a user, which it references, and an organization, which it references. This is eventually going to have a rule. Let's not build things in that we're not going to need just yet. So let's do that. Well, let's not generate a membership. Let's generate a model called membership. Okay, so let's take a look at the organization. So it's going to make an organization. It's going to have a name. The name is not going to be allowed to be false or allowed to be null. That looks good. And then let's take a membership. So we have a user, foreign key true, UID, organization null, false, foreign key true, view. Now the one thing is null. I'm going to say true on this one. Once we get to doing invites, then we want to be able to this Brio camera is killing me. I've been lagging the whole time. Anyways, once you be able to do invites, then the idea will be that you can create an invite that's going to create a membership with no user. So that's going to be what that's going to be doing. So let's hop back in here, and on the membership side, the user, this is optional true. All right, let's Rails DB migrate this. Great. Actually, let's roll that back. I don't think I saved this file before saving it. All right. So, user controller does all that, good, okay. And let's bring that up, and let's go and sign up. Email is admin@example.com. Password is password. So this created a insert into user, insert into organization, insert into memberships. That sounds all right. And now let's put in admin@example.com, password. And why did you do nothing? You want to do? I usually do a new file. I do a secure controller. And in here I go class secure controller. And this will extend our application controller, not Ned. And what is the for actions require? All right. And so we now have anything that anything that's under the secure controller is gonna have that by default. Okay, so let's have, so when you sign in by default, I want you to be viewing your organization. So I'm going to make a organization controller, organizations controller, RB. Okay. So if you're signed in, you already have your current user. I also want to have your current organization. And I'm just going to hard code this for now. And the current organization is current user dot organizations dot first. That's future Jonathan's problem. All right. And I'm going to change. I'm going to change the root from clearance sessions new to organizations. I can change this to dashboard, our pages home. All right, so I'm gonna make a new pages controller.rb. So the idea here is that you land on this page as your home page, and we're gonna probably have more pages. And this is going to be a secure controller. And I said this was going to be what? Routes, home. Okay. So that's actually home couldn't be found. Of course not. And now you can complain about. So it wants me signed in, admin at example.com, password, and why are you not working? I do have a user. Okay. Actually, while I'm checking that, let's do organization.all, admin.example.org's good, and it's not, that's right. User ID to org ID. All right, so that's all wired up. So that at least is working. Admin at example.com. Password is password. All right. Well, I clearly screwed up something on that. So let's try user.first.update password his password. Let's try you again. Right. Let's see. Why are you doing something weird? Admin at example.com. Password is password. All right, posting the session. A session and the password is filtered. Why are you not working? I know there's been problems at times with Turbo, so I'm gonna just comment that out just for giggles. Admin at example.com. Please sign in to continue. I am signed in. Posting. What is going on? Alright, I'm going to kill the server. Try it again. Make sure nothing's being weird. Refresh. Admin. You know what? Let me check one other thing. I'm going to remove that. Routes false. Apply. All right. So it was a cookie domain that must have set it wrong. All right, so that's fine. Okay, we'll come back to that. So we don't have a home template. So now we're back into the issues as I was hoping and expecting for. So in here we'll go pages, new file, home.html.arb, and h1 dashboard. All right, so now we've got stuff. Great. Okay, so where are we at right now? We're 1 minute to our half hour point. Okay, so what are our next steps? We want to be able to create a budget, and then once you create a budget, we want to add a whole bunch of envelopes to it and accounts. Those will be our next steps. Once that's done, we want to be able to start adding transactions to those. So that's where we're going to be next. So let's go in here and actually let's start getting some our spec testing in place. Okay, so if we do our spec Rails. Oh, there's my 1 minute warning. RSpec Rails, yep. So we want to be adding our spec Rails gem into development and test. Yep. And then we're going to be doing the Rails generate our spec install. So let's bundle this. Have we committed all this stuff? No, we have not. So let's leave that out. So this is our scaffolding, organizations, all right. So we're going to scaffold the organizations and memberships with memberships. All right. Bundle that. Our spec installs. Let's take a look what it generates. Spec helper, that's fine. Make the folder. Spec helper. Yeah, that's fine. And Rails helper. The one thing that I do throw in is that. All right, that looks good enough for now. All right. So that was the half-hour mark. Let's start the next half hour. Okay, so we now have our system running. We can make an account. We can. So the next thing that we want to be able to do is to create a budget. So here we're actually going to start using our spec for stuff. So Rails, our spec. When I'm doing these, I like to do a kind of a. I know that DHH does not like system tests. I do like them. I like them because I can kind of put that happy path in broad strokes, and it kind of leads me in that right direction. And it gives that kind of broad, is it working style tests. So I generally don't do a ton of them, but I kind of hit the main happy path. So we're going to do an RSpec feature, and here we're going to call this budgets. All right, so in here, scenario, we could say create a budget. And we're going to say user, we're going to, and here we go. We need to make, so we want factory bot. And it's going to be factory bot Rails. And that's just going to be in here. All right, and our support factory bot. So this is going to include, we normally have to go factory bot create. This is going to skip that. So we can just do user equals create user, and we want to visit root path as user. We want to click on the budgets button and click on add budget. And we want to fill in the name with my budget, and click on create budget. Actually, for some consistency, let's throw this here to say create budget. Expect page to have content created budget my budget. So let's capybara set up. So let's get that set up. I'm just going to go cat into in here. We're going to want foreman. Might as well grab that. I generally actually don't include the version. But yeah, it just makes it easier for maintaining things. Oof. All right, let's try bundling that. All right, so with this, we're gonna have a system where we can have tests. Let's see if that works now. Didn't register the factory, that's right. Rails G factory bot user. Is that what it is? And let's take a look at the users. All right. This is probably going to complain. We'll see. Email can be blank. The _1 is the same as using a block where we pass in n and we use pass in one variable and we use that variable. I'll probably switch to use Faker instead, just to give that something that's pseudo random, and it is better. But for now, that's fine. So I've actually been mostly working in RubyMine. but I just pull this up in VS Code for ease, and I'm forgetting the keyboard shortcuts to run things. Run test. Command bracket F. No test found in this file. Yeah, that's a lie. Oh, I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'll just rake it. So there's only one test. All right, so it is not finding the budgets button, which makes sense because there isn't one. So let's hop back in, and I'm going to, so where should I put this? I could just hard code into the page, and yeah, let's just do that. So we're going to want in here, we want to say click on budgets. Actually, this will be part of the menu. So I'm going to go into the views. I'm going to make a new folder, application. And in here, I'm going to make menu, html.erb, and let's throw underscore and fix that. And make sure that this works properly. So in here we'll put in render menu. And yep, that's good. So we're going to throw in here just an unordered list with a list item of if current user we're going to do a link to budgets path, and this will be linked to budgets. Twitch is going to yell at me. Go to the missing path and I'm a little bit surprised by that. Let's see what that looks like. I'm not signed in. Oh, I know why. Fast. So that in this test, I'm doing it sign in as user, and that's lets me bypass a whole bunch of stuff, which makes tests faster. But I have to enable that if I want to use it. So that's gonna be the Rails helper, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So rspec.configure. Sorry, that's in the test environment. Config environments, test environment. All right. Undefined variable budgets path. Of course it's undefined. Perfect. All right. So let's actually start. Yeah. Budgets. Right now we can say you want an index. And it's complaining about the controller. Perfect. I'm actually going to turn JavaScript off on this too, so that way it goes faster. Controllers, new file, budgets, controller. And now we're going to create our budgets and our index. All right. And this is looking for a link to create budget. And this is going to be the new budget path. This starts giving us a new error. New budget path doesn't exist. So let's change from only index to index or new or create. All right, good. So budget's now complaining there. I know I'm going to be needing a form, so I'll just make that from the get-go. Right. So with this, we're going to use one of the newer features, which is the local variables. It's just nice for making it so that you're definitely getting passed on the stuff that you need. What is just the name? And a text field. And we'll probably should submit button in there. All right, because it's nil, we're not getting actually all the stuff that we need in there. That's just from knowing it from what I know. So let's go in here and make our budget equals budget.new, which is going to be plain. I don't know what the budget is. Great. Rails G model budget. And this is going to have a name and a organization, which it references. let's take a look what it generates. We're gonna make this to a sequence so that it reads nicer. That's gonna be a problem eventually, but you just leave that out for now. Let me see what the migration for this is. So name is gonna be null false. I don't have a default. Organization is null false. That's all good. We don't have anything in here, so we can clear that out. Budget belongs to an organization. Yep. An organization has many budgets, has many memberships, has many users through memberships. That's Rails. DB migrate this and rake. All right, we move forward. So now we're hitting the create issue. All right. All right. So when we create, we are going to do create a budget. In here, we're going to be doing. We're actually going to make this always be scoped to the current organization. Dot budgets. Dot new with the budget params. In here we could do something else, but I'm just going to say budget.save and redirect to this is going to go to the budgets path with a notice of what did I say? Created budget budget name, and this is going to have to be internationalized and or whatnot. So we'll just test that out as is for now. Current organization. Okay, so that means that I have not set up. So users include. Okay, so we're going to say has many memberships, has many organizations through memberships. And here we're not creating the well, let's do this a little bit manually first. So we create a user. Count equals create, organization is create organization. And create member membership. User. Actually, we can just, yeah. So again, we're going to tie these all things together. All right. Cool, that passes. So now we can create a budget. And if we hop over here, the name is going to be my family budget. And it says, let's actually put one more on here. To have, let's actually say this is a link. My budget. Actually, let's not do that. So down here, you can do another scenario. Edit budget. So it's not the budget itself that we're editing the kind of metadata or something like that. So in here, if we create the user org membership, budget equals create budget, and for the organization, org. Now if we visit the budgets page, we can actually just say click on, because that requires it to exist. In here we are going to say, so click on edit budget, fill in the name with new name, click on save budget, and then expect. Have content, new name, okay, so it's not finding the link, perfect. That's what we were expecting. So in here we can go to the index. I'm going to say budgets equals current organization dot budgets. And if we hop down to the budgets index, in here we can do something like render budgets. template. Our budgets, we're actually going to change this. Render partial. This is going to be budgets. I don't know. So we have like a page or a card, and this would maybe be a link. All right. Now it's going to complain about missing budgets link. So for this, we're just going to say this is going to be tag.div. We're going to give this a ID of DOM ID. This is a great helper, by the way. We're going to pass in the budget, but we're going to say this is the link. Do. And what do we want in here? You know, we're just going to say this is a link to budget.name and budget. So that's going to go to the budget page. And now it's going to complain about show not existing. Yep. New create show. We're going to be getting the update as well, so might as well just add that as we're here. All right, so budgets, and it's now saying, actually that's timer. Okay, so let's finish up this one section, then we'll wrap it up. So this is linking to, so we're going to have the show. So in here, what you want to be doing is, so we're going to use current organization.budgets.find, and then the params ID. What's nice about doing this versus if you also could do, you can also do budgets or budget.find param ID, but this is going to find anyone's budget. By doing this, you can only view the current account. So if you pass in the ID for someone else, a different account that you don't have access to, you can't get into it. All right, so we now go to show.html.erb, and let's try it again with actually typing. And here we're going to spit out the budget dot name. So this is a variable, and let's just make this a little bit more. Let's start doing a tiny speck of styling. We're going to say text for Excel and font. Semi-bold. Beautiful. All right, so that's working. All right, so let's see what we get next. For errors, edit budget is not available, so let's make a. I would see this eventually being replaced with turbo stream, swapping things out and all that kind of stuff. But for this moment, let's do a link to edit budget. And we'll make this the edit budget. So a lot of this is standard Rails CRUD at this point for setting this up, and there's a few ways you could do this a little more automated. So it's update, not save. And our controller is not doing anything, which is why that's happening. All right, so that passes. So let's see if we can update this. And yeah, we can. We're going to change this to, we want to redirect to the budget. Great. Okay. So we can create, we can index them, create them, update them. We can't delete them. We can edit them. So that's kind of our budgets up and running. So 1 hour in, that's kind of where we're at. So next steps on this would be setting up the envelopes, and then envelopes, accounts, transactions, and then the schedule. So those kind of next steps I would be looking at. But for now, I'm going to take a call there, and yeah. So that's what we're doing for now, and I'll see you next time.